was a month of direct action. It was, and part of the reason at this point in time that we should really just go with the understanding, how many folks are in a neighborhood right now that is experiencing some form of rezoning? Like, I mean, like, again, like, really, like, it's, yeah, I mean, it's almost half the room. And let's be real about that. We know that communities, that working class and, particularly working class, low to no income, historically black and brown communities are facing higher rates of what quote unquote is upzoning, which is basically saying that there needs to be more quote unquote residential buildings, which come in the form of luxury hotels, luxury condos, apartment buildings. That's what they're building. There's actually a freeze in the city on downzoning. So neighborhoods, like we know the last neighborhood was maybe Bensonhurst that got downzoned. Park Slope has been downzoned. And then they say, like, there's a cap. We can keep the nice, quaint little buildings. We don't want more people, residential, property in this. We want to keep everything small at a certain height, nothing large and tall, and everything, we're going to downzone it. And we can't, and we'll make sure that not a lot of people are moving into neighborhoods. So in my neighborhood, in Flatbush, which is one of the densest populated neighborhood, there is probably at least 2 rezoning struggles that are happening right now. There's over 20 different luxury projects that are going up. We just had the opening of the Park Line, which is 626 Flatbush, which I joke a little bit. I think they have their own, skating rink in there or whatever. But it's a 23-story building. Studio apartment started at $2,000. And it does have things like, I guess you can have your own, private chef in there. You can have, it has its own movie theater, I believe. Whatever.
That is not the most love.
No, I just want to, again, across, and then the same thing, what has happened is right around in that neighborhood, right in that area, all the small businesses are losing their leases. So we have a struggle on Saturday where we're going, Errol's Bakery has been in the neighborhood for 15 years. I myself lived over Errol's Bakery when I first moved to Flatbush in 2002. We've been there, I've been in the neighborhood as long as they have been. I mean, in that site. Their landlord wants $8,000 for a month for that property. Yes, please, make the looks. $8,000. They are already paying. They're paying under $4,000 already, which is whatever. It's something that can afford. They're willing to raise their rent, almost like $1,500 to give to the landlord. The landlord, on the other hand, has now stopped, returning their calls, their lawyers' calls, doing everything in their power to not rent to them. So the community is responding. There's in 2 weeks' time, over 400 people, and not just in Brooklyn, all over New York, outside of New York, said this is an institution, an iconic place that we go to. There are people in Staten Island that are like, when I come to Flatbush, this is where I eat. It's been voted one of the best places to get jerk chicken in the neighborhood. And so people are rallying around it. So we call these community actions and these petition drives that we're doing to try to save this particular institution in the neighborhood. But this is happening all over. We have small businesses that are literally saying things like that there's one water meter to their entire residential building, and they're on the storefront. The landlord says, hey, there's a $1,000 water bill, and it's all yours. This is a business that doesn't use water. In fact, I won't even disclose that it's dry. It's right there. Next door is a nail salon that uses water. The landlord says, here, you can pay $100 a month. But this black-owned business is being charged $1,000 for water that they don't use when there's totally over a meter. And that's the way that they're trying to drive people out. So then they stop taking your rent checks and start hoarding and saying that they're not going to take your rent checks. Then they start telling you things because once your lease is over, they start saying we'll take $8,000 from you, that you can't afford. And this is how they're driving the small businesses out, with the understanding that they want, I guess, another artisanal mayonnaise shop to open up in Flatbush, because that's what people want.
Did you just say artisanal mayonnaise?
Yes, well, because there was one in Prospect. They actually got driven out of Brooklyn too. I guess they lost their lease, whatever. But Fort Greene, there was an artisanal mayonnaise shop. This is real life, people. These are facts. Anyway. I'm sorry, talk among yourselves. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. But anyway, the point of the matter is that's what they're, versus food that is Caribbean food, that's from our neighborhood, from our community, from people that have been been there, in fact, you know, been in the neighborhood for 15 years. So this is one of the struggles. The other piece is that Flatbush is now has, I guess, according to ProRepublic, who just did a study, Flatbush now leads Brooklyn for the highest rates of eviction in Brooklyn at this point in time because of situations like this. But with this then, let's just talk about how people are fighting that, because I think this is a really important piece. A quality from Flatbush that I'm a part of has been organizing with the Brooklyn Anti-Gentrification Network, which is a project for us that we launched. We have just sort of, at this point, said we need to keep doing things that are citywide. Brooklyn Anti-Gentrification Network generally has a citywide, we say we're a Brooklyn-based coalition, and we do citywide work. In the last few months, we've just said the meetings need to be citywide as much as possible. So it's been an amazing, and they happen here in this office. Because city planning, all they need to do is come into your neighborhood and say, we had a meeting, we had a hearing with whoever shows up to the meeting and say they want this plan, and the developers get the wing, and then they go about their business. We have shut down those meetings. MTOP has shut down those meetings so the developers can't get an edge in. This has been really important. But the piece that's been beautiful is it's caught on. So more neighborhoods are like, is that what we need to do? Instead of going back and forth and we have a plan and all this, more neighborhoods are like, just shut down these meetings. So in Williamsburg, this has been rezoned at least 2 to 3 times, if I'm correct. They've asked, the community asked for a park, the community asked for all these things, and now we see luxury high-rises all over Williamsburg. So this time around, when city planning came to their neighborhood and said, we want to rezone, you know, we want to talk about rezoning, a city council person was like, on the bullhorn and shut down the meeting for the community. And just was like, oh no, you told us 3 times that we could have this plan. And the community was like, hell no at this point in time. And finally, even electeds are saying like, why don't we just kick them out of our neighborhood? That's what we're doing. So yesterday, I believe, we have started an initiative that we're going to city planning hearings. We Brooklyn Anti-Gentrification have Chinatown and other groups have decided that we're going to go hang out with city planning. And we're going to start going to their public hearings. We were very nice. We just brought banners and signs. There was no disruption. No one was arrested. But who knows? It's a new year. But so the plan is what's important is to start talking about how city planning, because they're a city entity that people think are just like sort of for us. And letting people know these are the foot soldiers of gentrification. This is a city agency that is promoting this in our communities, and we need to fight them. So city planning is a target. And last but not least, I just want to share, and again for folks to also know, Alicia Glad. This is an important thing. I'll end with this. Years, people have been fighting around the Small Business Act in New York City that does exactly that. That guarantees 10-year leases, that says that people have the actual, that the rent can't be absorbent and just go up, because right now they can do whatever they want to, and even more that commercial tenants have the same negotiation powers as their landlords. That is the bigger issue, because right now they're at their mercy. So absolutely. So again, it's called SBJSA, please don't quote me, but it's the Small Business Act. And for 30 years, people have been demanding that it be passed in New York City. And the fight is still here, because we don't want more businesses to close, because a small, long-term, family-owned business are the lifeblood of New York City. And again, like, you know, of anywhere, and really truthfully, you know, we really just don't need another artisanal mayonnaise store anywhere in Brooklyn. Anyway, thank you, comrades. Fury has been around. I mean, Fury started really as fighting the gentrification back in the day of downtown Brooklyn, and also really looking at, like, frankly, even WEP workers that was the beginning of their group, was organizing around WEP and organizing around WEP workers. But they're now principally the main organizers of folks in NYCHA housing, NYCHA residents in Brooklyn. And exactly what Michael said, it is their dog and pony shows. De Blasio is going to different housing developments to say about the new plan that's happening. It's
all full of politicians, people in the community, people that live across the street are not allowed into these dog and pony shows. We actually, as band, and I was going to say Fury is part of the leadership of the Brooklyn Anti-Gentrification Network, we had to organize in the Wyckoff Gardens to tell them that Blasio was coming to this like dog and pony show. The residents didn't know, and no one organized. They were even going to try to keep Fury out of this meeting. We're ready to have a direct action if the de Blasio administration wouldn't let the primary organizers of NYCHA housing into his meeting on a non-ship property. But absolutely, they want to take private space, parking lots, all of that, and put up market rate. And I want to be clear, not even market rate, it's luxury rate. Let's be real. I mean, there's no such thing as, what does market rate mean? Because we can't afford that, so it's unaffordable. We say the slogan is affordable for who? Affordable for us. But exactly the whole piece, and I've talked about this multiple times, that when they do, so first and foremost, when they put up, and again, in my neighborhood, the $2,000 studio apartments, $4,000 for a two-bedroom situation, they then, what is it? It's 251 units. I think we get 50 or 51 units, and you're on a waiting list, a lottery to get to those 50 units, and with the understanding that your income is somewhere between like 40 to 60,000, when our average median income is under 39. So then you're on a waiting list. So it's a kind of ridiculous thing, but exactly that whole piece is like, it's not affordable for anybody in the neighborhoods. So whatever they're building, and again, you raised something I think is so important. It's a lie about the affordable housing piece. It's a lie. The luxury, I mean, you can look at San Francisco, but look at the West Coast. Luxury does not provide affordable housing. That is a lie. It does not work that way. The ruling class doesn't say like, you know what? You know, let's make sure, let's that trickle-down housing. Let's make sure that working class people have housing because we love them people. Well, they don't do that. The truth of it's a lie. And how long do we wait for lotteries in the city to begin with? Oh my God, the waiting lists that are there. So the reality of it is, one, it's a lie. It's luxury apartments. And the other thing is there, and I'll wrap up with this, that they're also empty. Oh my God. Nobody can afford to live there. It's totally, so it's speculative. There are people there are like, there is completely on top investment coming from foreign investment coming in to get citizenship. There is an understanding, citizens, so people are getting citizenship based on making, like basically donations to developers to build this property, and then it's vacant, then it's Airbnb'd, then all of this so that it's happening, and there's this lie that we're going to get some housing out of it, and we don't get a crumb. We get nothing. But in the meantime, the other thing that's really important is they sit empty. They sit empty. And so that's the other piece. We say we're the majority, we should get the majority of the housing, and the bottom line, the truth of the matter is to stop the lie. The lie is build affordable housing, real affordable housing for real people, and to not destabilize apartments anymore. Build it for the majority. And I totally agree with you. We're talking about it all the time. We're going to have to occupy our homes. Yeah. We're going to have to occupy our neighborhoods. It's already happening in LA. Families have barricaded themselves on streets and to keep themselves from being foreclosed. Like we should think about it. We are talking about everything about like no hate zones under Trump, where the Muslim community, the immigrant community. We also need to talk about, we say no eviction zones. We need to talk about like occupations of our neighborhoods. Yeah. True occupations to make sure that we can stay where we are, and absolutely think about that as not only just as like a political tactic, but as a part and parcel of the class struggle. Occupy our neighborhoods and make sure that we're the ones that be able to stay there.